ring, toggle.
Does it matter which one? Because there's two of them here.
So slider down, we're gonna pack in. This is our deep brake setting, and this is our shallow deep brake, or our shallow setting.
Okay.
This is for slider up.
Okay.
This is for slider down. It's gonna let us open in like the slowest orientation we can. If we're close. So line. Yep. Through the ring. And toggle through the loop.
My big concern, I see you're not able to lift the leg.
Think about, like take this Velcro. So they go straight to my rear risers, right? And then straight to, and then everything else.
However you want to do it.
Make sense?
If you want John to be your name.
So next step, we're gonna start like a skydiving canopy. So one, this has 7 cells. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna grab this, and I want to pull the nose all the way up, and then this slide between my legs. So it's nice to know the color of your center cell. So my center's over white. Just to kind of divide this up so you can see what's going on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flake it like a skydiving ring, and then I'm going to be real careful to lay it down and use that as like my pre-flake, and then I'm going to redo all those flakes on the ground, make it really neat. So always start, I know my A's and B's and C's and D's, or I know all my A's are up against my body, right? So that's your landmark. That's where you should always start. People try to start down here, but you can't, like, there's no reference really. So if you always start here, I can take everything other than my A's and I can just pull that away from my body. And I can flake this. And then I can pull this back against and hold my A's, and I can shake this out and make a nice fold, right? And then I take everything that's not my B's and I pull it out. 1, 2, 3. And then same thing, right? Here are my C's. For people our height, it's a little hard to get down here, but you can still get somewhat of a nice flake. Hold that. And then I have my tail. So this side's flaked, right? And the canopy should be nice and square because it's a pretty square parachute. Same here.
Yeah. Pull throw.
And steer down, so if you're going to be jumping big shoots, just remember.
Base jumping's so gay.
We can use those little ones and then we go.
Right, so
Clearly just a bunch of pussies that do this shit.
I have it both sides. I'm just bringing everything in the center. And this is the key. When you lay it down, you want to keep it nice and neat.
They do a left-hand pattern.
So I'm going to hold it right up against my stops.
You do what you gotta do.
I'll bring it out from my body. I take my nose, just lay it over to one side.
We do a
And then I'm
left-hand
going
pattern if you're laying
to keep tension with my right leg, get my whole arm under here.
If it's going this way, I think.
And I want to lay it down and then bring my arm out back, right? So I just did all that work to keep it neat. I don't want to ruin it by just like slamming it down on the ground.
You could probably just slam that shit in the bag just like that and it would work fine.
Oh, dude, that's how I pack it for bridge day. It's like, put clamp on the nose, and I just go. Then here's the most important part.
Dude, you touched my parachute, dude. It's fucked up.
Alright, so think about now. Well, we need to get you 3 like wood clamps. Like this. Right? Because they're side. Here's the nose.
You do that?
Do that again, Adam. Do you mind? Just because I didn't video. I'm trying to video everything.
Video.
Dickhead. Fucking dick.
All right. I'm gonna take arm in the middle.
Yep.
Everything
Boom.
over the side.
Boom. You're supposed to say
And then
boom.
here I have my nose, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line my nose up. So you can take your finger in each part of this, and you can, if you look, I can pull on this side and pull that line. I can pull on this side and pull that line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna effectively, and I grab like where the nose meets right here.
Did you do it on that side because the nose is on that side?
It's just, yeah, I mean, I folded it to the one side when I was standing up.
right,
And
and that's
yeah.
the side that you do that on.
Yep, because
Okay.
it's just folded over to the side.
Gay.
You want the nose to be out.
And this is a decently important part because we want to clamp it in the right spot, or our folds later on won't be in the right spot, right? So if you look, see all those lines are now stacked on top of each other. So I want to clamp it directly above where those lines. See where I can pull on here and it pulls tension on those lines? That's exactly where I want to clamp it. See, because now I can pull tension on it, pull it up the top. And then I'm going to effectively split the nose. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll pull these out a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just took 4 cells on one side. I'll have 3 cells on the other, but I just folded the center cell on one side. We'll fix that later. And I'm gonna squeeze here. I'm gonna lift up, and I'm gonna essentially fling this part of the nose under. Ready?
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep.
So now the nose is splayed out on the floor, and we're gonna start flaking this side.
So you've got 3 cells to the opposite side.
Yep.
And 4 on.
Yep.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do, we always wanna pull tension, right? So I'm gonna pull tension, hold it with my foot, and then I wanna start folding. So there's these packing tabs. So I should have 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna lift straight up. I can see the inside. I'm gonna pull the fabric outward while I'm pulling back, and I'm gonna set it down. Ready? That makes sense?
Yes.
And then I can go like this, and I can kind of, yep, and I'm always pulling tension back into there.
Now a lot of people put a clamp on there, right, Adam? Like,
Some
if
people
that-
do, yeah. I mean, you don't really need to as long as you're. The next thing, now that I've done that first fold, I've cleaned it up from the top and the outside. I want to clean it up from the inside. So if you come around. So first off, I want the parachute to inflate like center outward.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the nose here all the way up until I can feel where it stops. And then I'm going to take my next lines like I did against my body, and I'm just going to fold this flat. See that?
So you're doing it up until like it doesn't go anymore.
Yep.
And then pulling that.
And the nice thing is it's all square. And then I'm holding here where the lines are. And just pushing it here up. Make sense?
Okay.
And then all I'm gonna do is, so see the lines, how they're a little splayed out? I can grab my nose clamp and I can bring it back in the center. And then I can pull these nose back in the center. Then I'm gonna pull on these, I'm gonna step on it. And I have my next 3. 1, 2, 3. Pull straight up. Pull out. And go back around here. 3 lines. And what's nice about this part, see this is like my fold. I can fold it, pull it back into the center. I can make this all neat. Gotta set it down. Make sense? And then I'm holding, feel right here. You can feel the line attachment points. Holding that so I can dress all of this. Pull the air out. And then, see it's like, hold right here. Take this and just straighten it out. Right? And what you'll see if you're packing right, it's nice and, this should be the biggest. This should be the next biggest. My next fold will be this like smaller. But they're all square, right? They're not like V looking like that from the top, if you look at it. So, and then this is the last stabilizer fold, and then I'll do my tail. So we're gonna pull here, and pull here, and swing that up. Pull here, not a ton of tension, you don't want to be pulling the rig down, but enough to like have nice tension in the line. And then this is where, so these packing tabs, they lined up with my line attachments before. This doesn't necessarily do that. I don't know why, they could totally make it that, but it's every parachute I've ever done. So what I do is I just grab on the fabric and I kind of pull the lines, see where. So it's about right there, see how they're like tensioned?
Okay.
And then I'm gonna make my fold like that.
The last one goes off for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why they do it that way. And then what's nice about this one, I can get in the side here. So boom, boom, boom. I want to get up in here,
All up in it.
all up in it. But see this seam right here? I can grab that, pull that into the center. And then yeah, I can hold my lines here.
I'll make this into a video and put it on YouTube. Base packing with Adam Ganem.
You'll get like 5 views at least.
It'll get like -3 views.
So see now, like, this is all, it's all stacked, right?
Right.
Stacked.
Nice.
So now this is my tail. All I'm gonna do, I just wanna line up the brake lines and these seams. See the seam? So here you can kind of like work the fabric between to line those two. So I wanna line this seam up, and this seam. So I can like kind of like dress it and then put it down. And then I can make the fold, right? And this honestly, like, it's nice to have a clean tail, but later on we're gonna take the tail and we're gonna roll the shit out of it and we're gonna like hide it. So not as big of a deal as like this all being neat, you know? And some don't have a steering line, they just have that seam right there. Boom. So now, think about like everything I've done on this side, I just want to protect them, right? So I'm literally gonna put my arm in the center, and grab all this, and there's the other side of my nose that I flipped over, right? So we got 1, 2, 3. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Lift up. Same thing in here. Folding that nice and flat.
Try not to touch my parachute, dude.
Dude, the rescue team's gonna have no problem finding you.
I know, it's gonna be bright yellow. He's in that tree over there.
Nah, that's just a really bright colored tree.
No, he's probably fine.
Doesn't seem to be moving.
He's a fucking war hero, dude. He's gonna be fine.
The fucking surgeon can fix himself.
Same thing here. So it's really, dude, all you're doing, you're packing like normal, you're just taking extra time to clean all this stuff. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. As long as you do like there's like a few things that like you absolutely need to do. Like attaching your pilot chute and like stowing your brakes right. And like stowing your lines right. And putting tail out. That's like 99% of it. The rest is like
Don't get off of it.
yeah. I mean off-heading maintenance and like shit like that.
Don't do rollovers on your third jump.
With a tailgate.
You can.
Evidently you can.
You can.
And you
Only
can
if
walk
you're
away
hard as
from it.
fuck. You can walk away from it. It's not advised.
You can hit a bridge.
Yeah, you can't hit a bridge. Not even a bridge.
See,
Makes
that's
for
a
an
little
awesome
messy.
video.
See how it's a little messy? I can just pull that back in with tensioning those lines, right? And then I'll clean it up on the inside. Right. Boom.
Bada woom. There's dirt on your parachute, dude.
Blood. From all the virgins I've slain.
It's poop.
From all the virgins this way.
Nice. Hope my children don't watch this video.
Some of them loose them. Brought a baby here.
I eat babies.
Get in my belly.
I like to eat babies.
So now I can clean it up. So what I'm doing here is I can take my hand and I can go into the radius of that. And it just cleans it up a little bit. You can yank on this corner.
That's pretty.
It's pretty
You don't normally pack this way.
usually hammered. Okay, so now we flaked, think about like, we flaked stitch. And I'm just going to gently just pull the slack out of it. And I'm going to follow it down. See how I'm just kind of like, and especially when I get to my center sail, I want to pull, and if you pull on that, right, it's not like, it's just springy,
Right.
That's just a stretch in the lines, right? But when my parachute gets extracted, it's going to be lifted from this point. So I don't want this buried in here and yanking out and then, then loading. I want it to be loaded dynamically already through there, right? And then I'm just going to keep pulling this all the way down until I get to that clamp, which is right here. See it? And then I'll just take it, stack it on top of itself. And now it's clean front to back. Boom. Make sense?
It does make sense.
Isn't my science blackula?
It's perfect. It's a perfect base pack job.
Best parachute. Best pack job.
It's the best pack job of a low volume parachute.
In existence.
Did not speak
So
to
now, as like
Ukraine.
a slider down parachute, I would. I'm gonna grab my red lines, and all this is, it's my steering lines and my inside my first inside rear riser line, which cascades into a C and a D line up there. Yo, to bring this all the way up to my tailgate, and you see how there's this white spot? We don't want the tailgate loading on that, so we always want to turn this over so it loads against this, right?
Makes sense.
It's the best tailgate.
It's the best. I need a new tailgate. It's starting to. And then I don't Lark's head mine. Some people Lark's head them. I just take it and wrap it 3 times. And you want to snug it up so it's nice and snug, because what we don't want, what that's doing is it's preventing these lines from opening before our nose is completely open.
Right.
Because if our nose is completely open, the idea is that there can't get a line over it, right? Because it's attached about right here. I'm just gonna pull those into the center. Right there, and then I kind of want my B, I'll pull my B's in a little bit, but I want my A's and B's to be a little spread. And then I'm gonna take my whole tail where it attaches to these steering lines, and I'm just gonna pull tension into those. Because I don't want them like kind of like curled up around each other.
It's the best tension.
It's so much tension. And then I will
Cut it with a knife.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I'm just cleaning these up a little bit.
It's very clean. The best radio.
All of the lines are like nice. So next, there's this little rubber band in here called the secret stow, or the primary stow.
Secret stove.
It's the secret
And
stove.
all it is, so we're gonna take a bite of lines and we're gonna like rubber band it. And what that ensures is that this isn't, when we're deploying, this isn't starting to inflate until we're at complete line stretch, right? Because you want to be at complete line stretch and then the canopy slows you down versus this opening and you falling the line stretch. Does that make sense? So you can just grab where the fabric meets right here. It's a neat little trick I learned recently. You bring that down, and bring this down, so you can pull on your lines. And then, all we're gonna do, I'm gonna grab lines, I'm gonna fold, like flip my hand, and it'll give me a bite of lines. Right, so I get up against this, sorry, like this.
It's the best bite.
And the key is to keep it tight when you do it, so you get a nice bite. And then you're gonna take it and you're gonna tuck it up underneath. There's a little hole underneath your tail pocket. Some people, like when they start, they tuck it into their tail pocket, which is right here, but it's going under there. See it? And then we're gonna take the weight off, Bobby.
Want to pick it up or you just want to drag it?
No, right. Cool, does that make sense so far?
Uh-huh.
Black enough.
Uh-huh.
So I like to sit here. This is what people also have some issues with this, but if you think, all I want to do, I want to keep tension on these lines, and then when I pull it in, I can dress it with my hand. It's not pulling tension, and then I switch. So I'll show you. Okay, so see how I'm keeping tension, and I'm dressing it with this hand. So I'm just switching hands. See what I mean?
We're working on checking out some formations. Got a beer license right now. Yep. It's 21 weeks. You might probably say it's
Marcy. I'm out here to support you. Brought some people out and tried to get Molly to come out. She was all like, Rick's gonna be mad.
Who doesn't like Molly?
One freaking day of the season. Like, you don't have
Doug
to go
texted
there
me, he's like,
every
I just gave,
day.
like, one of our corporate coworkers, he's like, I just gave Dan me a Molly. And I was like, wait, intentionally? This dude's like,
This is going on YouTube, dude.
oh, sorry. Sorry,
The
Dan.
names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Right. By Danny meant Stan.
By Neemic, I mean
Bill.
Anemic.
By Molly we meant Fred. It's a person.
You guys. You silly guys. You're so silly.
This is going on YouTube.
I'm gonna take this, seal it up.
BooTube.
Booty. So I leave a little bit of this. I can kind of dress this a little bit. But... So once we get in there, we're gonna repack here. Alright, so now, he tossed me those other two clamps.
Dose.
So now, remember I said we were gonna roll our tail. I'm gonna take everything. See this little like triangle down here? Take that, and I'm just gonna fold it under. And I'm gonna take everything up until this white piece, and I'm gonna just roll it under. The white piece, kind of wrap it up. Just in line with my tail, or my tail pocket. Make sense?
Stop touching my parachute.
Fold under. Just roll it.
This is so boring.
I'm sorry, am I fucking boring you?
The best moves from other dude, man.
It's boring and it sucks.
And it's the worst.
It's the worst. It's the worst pack job ever.
Alright, now I'm gonna do my reduction folds. So here's the tail. I'm gonna fold everything outside that over the tail. So first fold, I always start at the middle. And I want to line it up with my tail pocket and then kind of fold outward. And then you just gotta pin this down and just stuff all that fabric, and you can feel the clamp right there. Stuff all that fabric into the center of that fold. What's up? Same thing here. Dracula.
Little Nirvana in the background. Some Nirvana beepeth.
And when I clamp it, I want this going towards the top, or towards the container.
In case you forget to take them off.
No, it's just easier when you're folding it. And all my seams line up. Fucking excellent. And now,
So
when
pretty.
I don't want my nose getting fucked up while I put it in, so I'm just gonna fold it under. for right now. Yeah, I'll fix it when I fold it. Make sense?
Makes so much sense.
It's like take $1.
It's so sensible. It's
Makes
perfect
sense.
sense. This is not part of the packaging.
That'll be the intro. So this container is a little different. It has what's called a through loop. So my closing loop's mounted to the bottom of the container. It just
Which
makes
is
it
dumb.
lower volume. And then these pull it up. Should have done this initially, but
Did what?
I should just like fold this slider out of the way initially, but
Yeah. But you didn't.
let's take this and we'll raise. Cool. Capiche?
Is it a salad?
It's like putting a parachute in the thing.
So I need to grab, when I move this in, I need to grab everything. And then just,
Look at that. So smooth.
so come look at this side. I'm gonna line the riser up so it's kind of in its channel right here. And I wanna make sure my toggles face it out, so when I open, they're just ready to receive. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get under the shoulder and I'm gonna kind of pull the slack out so this all lays flat. And you start to see like how my leg strap will move up. That's just letting the whole thing fold flat. Do the same thing on the other side. Grab it, put it in the channel. And then just pull that slack out so it sits in there. Capiche?
It's not too terribly different, just a little bit.
And then come down here. If I look in here, I can see all my lines. I can kind of push them into the corner so they're out of the way. And then I can really take this pack job, I can seat it. And what I like to do, like we've already buried the tail, I like to take the rest that's kind of open at the bottom and just fold it under like that. Look good?
So good.
So good?
Looks so good.
Yeah, he's beautiful. What's up,
It's
bud?
like perfect.
So now with that rig, you're gonna fold almost at the top of the container. With this, I have that
Middle.
closing loop coming out the center. So I gotta fold it like here, and then I'll have like ears up here, which there's no lines or anything, and I can just like roll out of the way, tuck in. I'll show you right here.
Oh my god.
And when you're putting it in here, take your time to really like flatten it out and get the radiuses and everything. So I'm grabbing my whole nose down here. I'm gonna take the nose and I'm gonna pull all of those into the center right here. I'll take this, clean that fold up a little bit. And then the idea is, so we folded the tail, right? And what I want to do is I want the center cell to open first, and then I want everything on the outside to open after the center cell, still quick. So what I'm gonna do is take the 3 cells on each side and like roll them. There's no slider there. So they're still gonna open really fast, but the idea is, and I'm gonna take this tape and kind of tape it, and I wanna pull that around the patch job like that. So now this is my center cell. It's like wide open,
It's ready,
ready to snap open.
Ready to receive.
Ready to take it.
Just take the hair.
It's the best. It's open. All the way. Same thing on this side. And literally, like, so I've used this on really tall jumps. I've used this on like super, like free fall, like 170, rolling it like this. Like, it's not, it doesn't make a difference. It just helps heading. So it still opens really fast. Pull that around. And I have like a wizard sleeve vagina thing. And I can even take that and I can tuck it into that last fold. So now literally the only thing getting air is that center cell, right? Is the vagina, the air vagina.
We've got trade issues with vagina.
Vagina. Vagina, very important. Very important vagina.
The wizard hat. Vagina.
That one's just the last one.
Yeah, like, what an adrenaline rush, man. That's
Crazy. First time.
Come back and do it again.
Oh, I'm definitely doing it again.
Nice, man.
Especially, oh yeah.
Excellent, dude. I'm pretty good at fun.
So this is, I like to keep the clamp on the nose when I do this fold, but you gotta remember to take it out. You can't really see it anymore. So that's why it's really important to like, I always pack with 3 clamps. When I'm done, I count them because I've left them in my rig before. And I'm like, fuck, I left my nose clamp on.
1, 2, fuck.
So now, what I wanna do, take my time. I'm gonna kneel on all of this. Take my time to clean it up. Right.
This is taking so long.
Schlong.
But it's so neat.
And the day I have to pack this up. So this is where we've already done. So we've taken our time, the whole pack job. We really want to like preserve all our work, right? We don't want to just like ratchet this thing closed. We want the container, if it's sized appropriately, to kind of envelop it. We don't want it like deforming the pack job. So as we close it, I take my time. So I'm gonna slide my knee like directly backwards, and what I'm doing is I'm keeping some tension on it. And then this side, same thing. It's gonna be a little, so this is where I kind of push it down with this one, because some of it's kind of pushed over. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of working it closed. I'm not like jamming it closed, you know? And I'm gonna take the pin, the second pin, the one closest to the pilot chute, put that in. And I always want my pins to be frowny face, like that. And what that does is, if you think about like the natural pull of it, when it loads like this, it just flips it up, right? Flips up like that. Versus if it's like this, it has to almost pull against it to flip it up. It's like a sword. It's like a sword. So here, again, it's a little different because this has a through loop. I have these 2 ears. Here's the center cell. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull, I just like packing it so my bridle comes out the center. So what I'm gonna do is I'll pull the center cell up until I get to my attachment point, right? And then I kind of just tuck that in. So then my center cell, or my attachment point's in the middle now. I can dress this. I want it to, it's gonna be coming out the center like that. So I'll tuck all of that in.
You just stuff it in there, or is it a special way you put it in
No,
there?
you just stuff it in there. I mean, it's coming out pretty violently, so as long as it's just oriented correctly, that's fine. And I take this, there's nothing in here, it's just fabric, it's just the ear of the canopy. And I'm gonna fill out the corner. Same thing with this side. Fill out the corner. And now I have that. And the last piece is like, I need to get this pull-up cord directly in line with those grommets. I'm gonna take the rest of my center cell and I'm just shoving it straight down. And I can pop this through here. So to do this, because it's like, it's not a flap loop, you can't just pull directly up on it. So, I'll organize this. And I'll use the grommets kind of like a pulley system. And I'm gonna pull straight back, right? So if I go, there's a pin. Yeah. So I want a little bit of slack, and then I'm going to take the rest of this, just tuck it up. So I got 2 pins, and the most important piece is making it look nice. And this doesn't have any 3 rings on it, but if you had 3 rings, this is a nice opportunity to check your
So
3 rings.
Bella is on load right now, and she's also on the next load. So I was thinking that maybe
It depends. I don't like them
can you really make it or
just because they're not as comfortable.
they got
You don't need them.
yeah, they got Mike
What?
You don't really need them.
the next load.
You don't need them unless you get stuck in like, and then I like to kind of,
And Rich
so I
is
think
on
all
this
that
load,
fabric
Bella's
now is
on
like
this
stuck in
load
there,
right
but I
now.
can kind of
Okay.
compress it and
So her
make
idea
it
was to
like
come down to
nice and
Marcy's
flat.
rig. But I just talked
Makes
to
sense?
Rich and said, well, here. So
And the last
if you wanna
piece,
slide it in, you'll find out.
so I got 3 clamps and 2 pull-up cords, so I know nothing's left in there.
But you should keep it for students.
So with this, we don't want to fold the pilot chute like a skydiving pilot chute, because we want it to like, number one, it doesn't have a handle on it, so we're gonna make like kind of an impromptu handle, and also it doesn't. We don't want it folded up. Once we throw it, we're ready for it to open, so we want it inflating really quickly, right? So we're gonna do what's called a mushroom. So I start here, trace this all the way. Boom. And then literally, I'm just gonna grab this, cinch it all the way up here, fold it, and this attachment point is gonna act as the foundation of that handle I'm gonna make, okay? So I'm gonna make all of my bridle folds and about there, and I'm gonna make like a little nub that we can then grab onto.
A nub.
Little nub. It's like a micro penis. I'm gonna make a micro penis.
Or a large clip. Too.
So, and you can like mess around. Sometimes it just takes a minute to figure out exactly what length, but I mean, it needs to go back inside of there. So we'll just do it like this. And then the important part is like, I want to feel that. So pinch right there. Feel that? Feel that. So that's what I want to like preserve. So I'm gonna get the skirt over there. I'm gonna grab it, and then I'm gonna come in here and flip that up. Flip that. Yeah. I'm gonna take this and like get it in there, get a nice tight hold on. And then everything I do from now on, that's my foundation. It's just like when we clamped our nose, right? I want to keep, that's the handle we're going to eventually get.
It's ready to go.
So as long as like, it doesn't matter if the fabric down here is like flopping around. What I like to do is like kind of like dinosaur claw it. And
You
then,
hold that really well.
like thick. And then just stuff it in there. Hide my bridle. And then if you look, if you feel that now,